everyone, Luna here. Thanks for stopping by and checking out my first question and answer video. Sorry if my voice sounds kind of funny. I'm sick, and I apologize if you watched yesterday's World of Warcraft video and were like, what the hell's going on? I just put an audio track over it because I sounded like a demon and I didn't want to scare you guys. But yeah. Today is my first Q&A video. I put some questions out on Twitter, and I only got 3 responses back, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and answer those, which are gaming-related questions, and then I'm going to go ahead and answer some other Q&A questions so that you guys can get to know more about me. The first question comes from, I'm looking over reading the question as I look back, so I'm not just like spacing out in case you were curious. The first question comes from Sean May, whose Twitter handle is @BxA Element. Question: what do you want out of YouTube? Like, what's your goal? What do I want out of YouTube? I would like to make people laugh. I know I'm not good at some of the games that I play. Some of the games I outright suck at. But I want to make people laugh, and I also want to help show off some indie games that are on Steam, or I find out via YouTube or Twitter or Instagram. Find out about. My mouth is broken. Excuse me. But I want to help share indie games and just my gameplay in general. Just want people to enjoy watching it. I don't have any huge goals like become YouTube famous and be a millionaire. I mean, if it happens, it happens, but as long as people laugh, I'll be okay. The next question comes from Queen Noobs @Queen_Gamings, and her question is, do you play many horror games? If not, would you be open to it? Horror games are my favorite. I don't play many horror games, and it's not because I'm scared by any means. I like things that are scary, and sometimes I watch scary movies, but the reason I don't play them is because I have yet to find one that isn't a first-person game. I hate, oops, stupid phone. Hold on. I hate games where there is, like, all you can see is my hands. Like, Serious Sam is the exception to the rule, because Serious Sam is awesome, but games that are like that where I can't see my body just are weird to me. And I know a lot of games are like that, but if there was a horror game out there where I could see my whole body, then I would be more apt to play that game. This next question I love, but I feel bad about because I feel like I'm going to give a really long or longer than anticipated answer to. And it comes from David Gleeson, whose Twitter handle is @DaveGSWFC. That's a tongue twister for you. And he asked, what game has given you the most enjoyment? My favorite game ever out of the history of ever is going to be, I mean, you can't even see anymore, but any old Pokemon game. I'm playing this one right now. I also have the red one and the yellow one. The red one is my favorite, but like whatever one I play, I always choose my starter as the Pokemon that's on the front, so or the one that's like associated with it. So if it's the blue one, I might check out my old awesome Game Boy Color. This is also my favorite gaming system to play on. I know, gaming system, but I like it. But yeah, anyway, so the blue one I picked Squirtle, and like the red one I picked Charizard. But those are my favorite games ever. Favorite PlayStation games, I liked playing Crash Bandicoot. That was loads and loads of fun. Or like the first Tony Hawk game that ever came out, that was the shit. Xbox games, please don't hate me. I just got an Xbox for the first time like 3 weeks ago, so I'm still learning how that works out. And the only game that I have that's like officially mine, I mean, my boyfriend and I obviously share games, but the one that's like not one he's gonna play, I bought Harry Potter Lego, and I have seasons 1 through 4, and then 5 through 8. I'm working on 1 through 4 right now, so I feel like it's kind of biased saying that that's my favorite Xbox game because it's the only one I have, but it's my favorite Xbox game. My PC obviously is like where I feel super comfortable. Um, my favorite, what game is giving me the most enjoyment? I really like this game that I got off of Steam recently. It's called Death's Hangover. I just got it as originally it's a demo game. Um, and I really like it because I'm a huge fan of watching other people play that's the game, Binding of Isaac, but I can't play that game for shit. The controls are just, it doesn't click up here. So I like Binding of Isaac, but I can't play it. So Death's Hangover is kind of a ball and bat game. So it's like an old school arcade game, but the graphics and some of the concepts are similar to Isaac. So I really like that game. And I also like FTL. So if you watched my Drunken Demo day last week, I cannot play FTL for shit. I'm good at the strategy part, but not at the like putting people in certain zones and like having them do certain things. So my boyfriend does that, and I do the strategy part, which is really cool because it's something we can work on together. So yeah, let's go move on to, I just got a list of questions. So again, if I'm looking off to the side, it's because I'm reading. There are 50 YouTube questions you've never been asked before, so sorry that they're not gaming related. I just figured it would be a better way to get to know who I am. I'm not going to read all 50. I'm probably going to split this up into 2 parts, and sometime after the holiday I will do the other part. But let's go ahead and get going. First one, what's your favorite candle scent? I absolutely love the lavender. There's like a lavender one from Yankee Candle, or apple pie flavored, ew, gross. It's not like I'm eating it. Scented, apple pie scented or lavender scented. Those are my 2 favorite types. What female celebrity do I wish was my sister? That's a toss-up between Jenna Marbles or Khloe Kardashian because I feel like Khloe is just such a strong, independent person, and I feel like the show has kind of given her a bad rap, but I think she's really awesome. And I wish Jenna Marbles was my sister because she's just full of shenanigans all the time. What male celebrity do I wish was my brother? Probably The Rock. Dwayne Johnson is like so funny, and he does every time, like, he has a wicked awesome YouTube channel. I don't know if anybody's ever watched it. Not getting promoted by him, but I love his YouTube channel. So yeah, he's super funny, and if anybody ever tried to mess with me, I'm sure he could beat them up. How old do you think you'll be when you get married? I'm not going to answer this question because my boyfriend watches my videos quite a lot, and I'm not one to be like, oh, well, we have to do this by this day, and we have to do that by that day. I don't want to give the wrong idea or the wrong impression or put pressure on anybody to do anything, so sorry, I'm not going to answer that one. Do I know a hoarder? I don't think I do. Try to think about it. No, I don't think that I do. I don't think that I ever have. Can I do a split? Hell no. How old were you when you learned to ride a bike? Don't laugh. I remember having a bike when I was little, like 8 or 9, but I don't ever remember getting off training wheels. And then, not this year, but no, actually, no. Yeah, the year before, my brothers gave me a bike for my birthday. My brothers, my dad, my stepmom gave me a bike for my birthday, and I drove it around my dad's yard forever, and so last year was the first time I officially learned to ride a bike without training wheels. Let's see. How many oceans have you swam in? I assume that they're all the same oceans. Um, I've like gone to Hampton Beach. I've gone to Old Orchard Beach, I think. Definitely Wells Beach in Maine. I've been to pretty much every beach in Virginia, Georgia. My mom lives down south, so every beach on the way to go see her, I've definitely been in. I've been to Fort Lauderdale. I've been to Miami. I've been to Orlando. But I don't mean to sound ignorant, but I don't know the exact like names of the oceans, so forgive me. Um, how many countries have you been to? If you count Canada as a country, which I don't, because they're right above us, and it's like, I mean, now it's a little harder to get into. You actually have to have your passport and stuff. But I've been to Canada and I've been to Ireland, and I've been to all of Ireland. For those of you who don't know, not too long ago, Ireland just got finished with a civil war, so it was not impossible, but it was difficult, and you're kind of unwelcome to visit Northern Ireland. But I've been to every major city and some small towns throughout Northern and Southern Ireland, so technically only two other ones, but I just thought I'd throw that fact in there. Is anyone in your family in the Army? No one in my family is in the Army currently, but I have aunts and uncles, and my dad was in the Army, and my grandfathers were in the Army, Navy, Air Force. One of my grandfathers was a Marine. So everybody in my family, pretty much, who's a boy, has been in the service at some point in their lives, and even a couple of the females have. What would you name your daughter if you had one? Probably Luna, or Francesca. But that's about it. Um, what would I name my son if I had one? I would name my son Mitchell, which is kind of like holds a special place in my family, and for a silly reason, but it's still really cool. When my sister was really, really little, we were at the beach, and she found a hermit crab, and she wanted to take it home, and obviously she couldn't, but she kept it with her the entire time we were at the beach, and she was really little. I want to say like 3 or 4. So when we asked her what she named the crab, thinking she was going to name it like Krabby or Chompers or something like that, and she was like, no, I'm going to name him Mitchell. And we didn't know anybody by that name, so it was kind of funny for her to just pull that out of her ass. So I really like that name. What's the worst grade you've ever gotten on a test? I don't remember that far back, but I want to say this year, I'm usually really, really good as far as like college grades. I think the lowest grade I got this year was a 75. And that was only because there was like a computer error, and we had to submit it online because it's easier for, even though I take in class, like classroom type classes, our teachers have us do tests online sometimes because it's easier for them to grade it. And I think because that day there was a problem with the internet, so I was able to redo it. I don't remember what the grade was, but I remember getting a 75 and being like, what? One sec. What was your favorite TV show when you were a child? It's hard to pick favorites again. So I'll give you a couple. I liked watching This Old House, which is weird, but I liked it. I liked watching Power Rangers and brain fart. Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff Girls. Um, this question is very specific. What did you dress up as on Halloween when you were 8? Well, first of all, Halloween's my favorite holiday ever. I'd go so far as to say I like it better than Thanksgiving. I like it better than Christmas. Halloween and New Year's are like my favorite holidays ever. When I was 8, I don't know, but I do remember at one point dressing up as Morticia from the Addams Family. That was really far back, and that was probably my favorite costume because it was super easy and it kept me warm, but I still looked badass. Doo-doo-doo. Have you read any of the Harry Potter, Hunger Games, or Twilight series? I have only read Harry Potter. I've wanted to read the Hunger Games, but I don't have any copies of it. And right now I'm too poor and have to buy college books. And Twilight, I never read, but my sister did. She told me all about them, so I kind of was like, well, good enough for me. Um, would you rather have an American accent or a British accent? Um, I'm kind of a Cumberbatch. I love Sherlock Holmes and stuff like that, so the closer I could be to Sherlock in terms of coolness, the better. So I definitely would want a British accent. Did your mother go to college? Yes, my mother did go to college. Are your grandparents still married? Well, that question is probably could last a whole nother video. Um, yes, they are still married. Some of them have since passed away. Um, except for my grandfather, who is my mom's dad. He's still alive, and my dad's mom is still alive. And she was happily married and still technically is, but my grandfather passed away. And my mom's dad is still alive, but he has a girlfriend who he's been in love with forever and ever and ever. Have I ever taken karate lessons? No. The next question, do you know who Kermit the Frog is? If I didn't know who Kermit the Frog was from watching him in shows, then I would know who he is just by the evil Kermit memes alone. First amusement park that you've been to. There is one in New Hampshire. I'm having a brain fart. I'm actually gonna look it up for you. Excuse me. This was my favorite theme park ever, and I went there pretty much every year for my birthday until I was one year when I was like 12. It rained on my birthday, so it was closed, and I just never went back. So sad. But let's see. Theme parks in New Hampshire. I mean, Santa's Village is pretty fun when you're like little and stuff. Not Storyland, not Water Country. Canopy Lake Park. Canopy Lake Park in New Hampshire is probably my favorite theme park ever. What language besides your native language would you like to be fluent in? I can already speak Spanish, and I'm working on learning sign language. I know a little bit right now, but on top of those two, probably something that would be important if I ever joined the army or went further into like a tech career. So something, say, like Arabic or Chinese, some sort of Chinese dialect would be awesome. But the hard part, I think, with that would be to learn the characters. So not necessarily the pronunciation part, but like the writing part of that would be really difficult. Two more questions. How do you spell the color gray? Do you spell it as Grey or Gray? I am weird and I spell it EY. And the last question for now, is your father bald? My father is not bald. He is a really classy Italian guy, and when he was growing his hair out, had like long curly black hair. And for just like a brief moment, he had a little Sopranos like white stripe going through. But because he was in the army and his hair started to change, he now just kind of goes with buzz cut. It's all salt and pepper. But thank you guys so much for asking me questions on Twitter, and those who I featured at the beginning of the video, their links will, oh my god, gotta nail this one. Their links will be down below, so please click subscribe and then go click on those other people's Twitter pages, and I'm going to also put a link to their YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had fun. Bye.